Generally, before starting any program, we pray for the Ganesha. So, we'll do the prayer for Ganesha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Devo Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Ganapataye Namaha. And for the salutation to the Saraswati. Ya kundenu tusharahara dhavala ya shubhravastravata ya veena-varadanda manditakara ya shveta padmasana ya brahmachyuta shankara prabhutibhe devai sada vandita samam patu saraswati bhagavati nishesha jadyapaha. Thank you. Shall we continue? Padma? Are you comfortable with this or I am comfortable with this?
Good morning. We begin with today's workshop, and the title of the entire 3 days workshop is Dealing with Behavioral Challenges in Early Learning. Okay? This is just a small little thing on what teaching basically is. Okay, if you read through it, it is don't try to fix the students. We have to fix ourselves first. The good teacher makes the poor student good and the good student superior. When our students fail, we as teachers too have failed. So the first day of the workshop, we are looking at a lot of personality development. We as individuals. In the end of the day, when we are working with children, whether they are typically developing children or children with special needs, any kind of a child, our personalities, our thoughts definitely have an impact on the child. So we have to guard ourselves from a lot of negative stress which is there. I still remember when we were doing my MSc, we had a part known as counseling. So when we were in counseling, before we were given a child, we went through a lot of sessions of counseling to get the feel of what it is to be in that situation. It's very easy to sit on the other side and talk a lot, but to walk through it, it's very difficult. So we were taught what it is to walk, what it is in counseling. So every time we go in, it is that we have to change ourselves before we actually go out to change others. So the entire day today is going to be focused on what are the core characteristics of an effective teacher. How effective is a teacher? What are the characteristics that we do not have or we want to build upon? So it's basically an introspection kind of a thing, very personal. Today it's going to be a very personal journey for all of y'all. The core characteristics of teachers. What does it take to be an effective preschool teacher? So there are a lot of combinations which are there. Knowledge, skills, and personal characteristics. Personal characteristics actually make a lot of difference when you're working with children. Teachers can increase their knowledge and develop their skills. So the first two, you can increase your knowledge. That's why you're all here to attend the workshop. What happens to the personal characteristics? Personal characteristics involve social, emotional, and spiritual beliefs in addition to cognitive skills. That's the way you think, the way you reason, which are more fixed. It's very difficult to change attitudes, beliefs. Okay, it's very difficult. That's why I think we had a parent who's coming out and telling she struggled, she went through the struggle. We work with 90% of our parents are people who are struggling because it's set attitudinal beliefs to break is very, very difficult. Teachers, educators and administrators would benefit from knowing the characteristics of an effective teacher. So what are the core characteristics of an effective teacher? What made you join as a preschool teacher? Okay, so you'll have to introspect over here. Is it the money? Is it the occupational glamour associated with it, that you're a preschool teacher? Is it the passion? Or is it a feeling to create and make a difference in the child's life? So you'll have to be very clear as what are your goals? Why are you here? Why do you want to stick only to preschool teaching? Because teaching starts from preschool and ends with high school. Okay, so it's a journey which you actually take. Why stick to only preschool? Why are you in this thing? What makes you do this thing? It's not only for preschool teaching, it's for any kind of a job that you are in. Why are you actually doing this? Okay, so you'll have to actually check out as to what exactly it is. Here we take a break and we give you all a small little checklist which is there. You'll have to just fill it into that. There the core characteristics are there. So based on that, we will be getting into the thing. Can I have those checklists, teacher effective checklists? You'll have to read very slowly because it's very personal. There's a lot of soul searching which you'll have to do. Everybody gave you previous response sheets which were there? Yeah, thank you. Can I have that? Teacher checklist. I think all of you will have the teacher skills checklist, right? There are different qualities. There are around 12 qualities that we have listed on the left hand side. There are indicators which are there. Those are the characteristics you will have to look into. You will have to have a personal evaluation as whether you will have achieved it. If you will have achieved it, write yes. If you will have not achieved it, write no. Okay? Leave the top priority column. We'll fill it in later. At the end of the day, we have to fill it in. If you have any doubts with regard to the question or the language there, please feel free to ask us. Tomorrow we can get some. Tomorrow we can get some. No, we can give out everything. We'll give it off. No, it can be, you can just put yourself in that situation and decide, in general. In general. Where does it come in here? Dedication to teaching. Participate in all the activities present in the school. Teaches metacognitive strategies to support reflection and learning progress. Metacognition basically is the higher cognitive, like reasoning, think, okay, give them a lot of problem solving, the higher thinking abilities. Yeah. Do you know self-monitoring? Do you teach the children? Do you know where you've made a mistake? That's self-monitoring. Are you all done or is it too tough? It's more or less done. Yeah, please write your name so we'll give it back in the end. Yeah, it's only the clinical services that we offer. For? To enter into the field. There is, because it's basically we are like professionals who've got together and started this thing. So now we are looking at even non-core professionals which is there, that the lower level thing like teachers or even school dropouts, take them in, rehabilitate, educate them, and just be as therapy aids as such. Those who are interested, we can just give training courses as such. But that core professional skills is something you can't impart. You have to go through that rigorous training. We've been trained, I think, for 7 years. For 7 years of training, and then we are what we are today. There is another venture that we are actually starting off sometime in March. So we are working towards it, like how we had Ms. Soumya telling that we had a lot of parents coming to us. And she works with the children, I work with the parents because I'm a lot into counseling of families. So I understand what they go through. So that's when the idea cropped up that we'll have an alternative schooling. So we train them at the center, then do the transition, then get them into mainstream school. So that's going to start off from March. We're going to have it off, and we're not taking a lot of children. It's only 6 children. Because there's no compromise in quality in which we believe. The quality goes, it goes. Because a lot of children. We're looking from that age between 4 to 6 years of age. Work a lot on those pre-academics, that pragmatics, social communication. Train the parents on the thing, that this is how it's going to be. In the meantime, go to schools, talk to them, break the ice. That breaking the ice itself is a job which is there. It's a huge job. Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So what we basically do is we have a lot of camps in our center for these children. We call these children and we call basically our nieces, nephews. So those normal children, who was interested, please come and volunteer. So that buddy group. So once the children actually, start telling that I want to be with this child, I want to help this child, no parent can refuse. So we use the children to help children. Yeah. It's so easy to label, yeah.
I think it's become more like a fad. The schools know about it right now, it's become more like a racket. Teachers don't know about it, they just know the word ADHD.
Yeah.
So just label a child, you see a child hyper, and then running away.
Many of them don't even know that ADHD has 3 different classifications under it. There are so many types of classifications, and the developmental, the neuropsychological manifestations, it requires so much of rigorous thing, because even now, even after 13 years of being in the field, when we got to put down a diagnosis, it's like 3-4 times we think before we write it down. So we never use diagnosis. In the reports which we write, we never write diagnosis. We always write impression. Impressions can change, diagnosis never change. So I think you must have gotten a fair idea of what are the characteristics. What basically went on through your minds when you were filling it in? When you were looking at the characteristics, were you be able to relate to all these kind of things in your caring? Because most of them as parents, it's very instinctive as mothers to be very caring and nice. But showing it to the other child, definitely we have our limits. We have our limits which is there. Okay, so basically when we get into the characteristics, this is basically what we are looking into. We should always be caring. We have exhibit active listening. Now listening is a skill which you have to actually learn. It's not very easy to listen to everything in the world. Okay, so active listening itself in the last day, on the 3rd day it's going to be IEP and counseling. So the entire focus on how do you counsel parents, okay, would be on this active listening skill. So there's an entire day for that. So we're not getting into active listening skills. Show concern for students' emotional and physical well-being. How could we do that? As teachers, how would you do it? Emotional and social well-being. Any examples that you all can give? That you will really care for the students' emotional and physical well-being. One behavioral manifestation that's important for us. It's very instinctive. Children can actually read. Now there's a latest research which is there that children can read faces, trust faces. If they trust the face, they will just come to you. If they don't trust, they never bond with you. So how would a child actually know that, this is the person I can actually talk to? It's a very simple gesture. You don't have to even hug. You just have to come down to the child's level and sit and talk. That's all. So that's when you actually respect the child, you bond emotionally, and you are aware of the child's physical well-being. The child doesn't have to look up. It's very straining. So, just sit down to the child's level and talk. And we spoke to a lot of children when we actually do this. Okay, we do this with a lot of children, whether it's in the corridor, whether it's anywhere, in the clinics. We sit down and talk to them. We get on our knees and we talk to them. And then we've heard children actually say, see, I got auntie come down to my level. So they feel happy. They want to come back to you because, there is somebody who's actively listening to them. So that correlates with the first thing of active listening. The next one is displays interest in and concern about the students' lives outside school. Has a fair idea. Okay, we cannot get into a lot of details about the personal thing. Has a fair idea of who the friends are, what do they do, what are the places of interest, we have to learn a lot of what is happening in the media. Okay, that's one thing which we keep doing constantly. I am not very media friendly or technology friendly. I really don't know how to handle things. If Bhuvna is not there, I am doomed. I don't know anything which is there. So we have to know what's happening in the media. Because the terms they use, the kind of cartoons they see, everything has an impact on the child. So getting a fair idea of, that ice breaking with children is basically like that. Okay, so getting to know what are the actual things which are happening in the media. Creates a supportive and warm classroom environment. They would love to march in and sit down there and we have children, we have special children. I work with a lot of special children which is there. In the initial stages when they walk in, they're all crying and this and that and all that. It takes around 3 weeks for them to settle. And then they dictate, I want to sit here, you have to sit there. You have to be here, you have to be there. You can see those small differences which are there. They'll appreciate a sari color of yours, they might not appreciate what you're wearing today. They'll actually come and ask me, not matching. Blouse and sari, not matching. They are not able to actually come out with it unless and until you provide that supportive environment. That supportive environment. Especially when we work with special needs children, you have to be very, very caring. You will have to give something known as movement breaks to them because they can't sit throughout. Okay, so understanding when to give, how much to give, all that is very important. Fairness and respect. How do we give fairness and respect? How do we create that entire thing in us? Response to misbehavior on an individual level. Okay? All children are naughty. Children have to be naughty, otherwise they are very boring to look after. Okay? They are not objects. They have to be naughty. Otherwise there is no fun in looking after children because when you sit and think, like now my son is 9 years old. When I go back and actually think, there are a lot of nice things to talk to him and laugh. You were like this when you were 3 years old, 4 years old, you did this. What fun we used to have, you were so naughty. Children are not naughty, there is nothing to talk to the child. There is no bonding. That doesn't mean you allow misbehavior to happen. There is a thin difference between naughtiness and misbehavior. So tackle it at an individual level. It's at a very individual level, not in front of the entire class group which is there. Call the child out, talk to the child as to what basically is happening. Prevent situations in which a student loses peer respect. Laughing in front of the child, asking the child a lot of things, which the child actually does not know, telling him to talk. You have to camouflage a lot of the children's skills which they have not learned when you're actually coming out into the group situation. Treat students equally. Create situations for all students to succeed. Show respect to all students. Okay, respect could be in simple terms, please can you give this, you telling sorry, moving your way off, picking something for the child and giving, because all these are behaviors. Children learn basically through observation. Their minds and their cognitive skills are just like an empty slate. Whatever we write on that is written. That's all. So they learn through behavior. You want your child to learn a particular thing. First thing is we have to show it. It has to be a part and parcel of our own lives. Only is it then the child going to learn it. I hope you're getting the point. Yeah. Interaction with students. You are a teacher and that's a profession. Don't lose that professional line. It's very important to keep the professional line there, because when you're working with children, even we get very emotionally involved. You tend to get very emotionally involved with the child of children, the kind of cases that we see. So we have to be, you are soft from within. As a human being you feel, but you can't show it, but it's not going to help out. Nobody wants sympathy. You have to solve a problem. That's what they've come to you for. So you have to know when you have to be friendly, when you have to be putting your foot down. So don't lose your professional thing. You're a teacher and you're a teacher. You are in charge. Okay, you have to be kind. You can be nice and kind. You are in charge of what is happening, and the child should be able to come and ask you. Even if he has to go out, he has to move something, he should understand that you are in charge of the entire environment, that physical place in which, the child and you are and the other children are. So that's the professional line. I am the teacher here. Please ask me before you do something. So that's the kind of professional line which is there. Give students responsibility. Okay, like cleaning the board. In olden times it was there. I don't know. When we were students it used to be there. We had to sweep the classroom. We had to rub the board. There would be a prefect, there will be a class representative to write the date. That kind of thing has slowly lost. So we're not giving our children what we have got. Okay, so the small kind of responsibilities is something which we'll have to give the children. Know students' interests both in and out of school. Okay, that's the talent search which teachers do. See, as parents, we will not know basically what our child knows or what our child's talents are, because we are so busy in the day-to-day activities which is there. Okay, so it is a teacher who actually can identify what is the child's strength, what is the child's talent, is he good in singing, is he good in drawing, is he good in this, is he good in that. Because I can talk about my personal experience. I didn't know my child was good in drawing till his teacher told me. Till his teacher told me that he is good in drawing. I never knew that he was good in drawing. Values what students say. Okay, values what students say again goes back to active listening. It again stems back to the thing of active listening which is there. Interacts in a fun, playful manner, jokes when appropriate. Okay, so that distance, the entire thing of that professional role. Enthusiasm. Shows interest, joy for the content material. Content material could be anything. For the material you're going to teach today to your child. It could be maths concept. Wow, wonderful. We're going to learn maths today and then we're going to have it. It depends on how you're going to put it out to the entire thing. You should be happy with what you're teaching. If you do not like the subject and that's given to you, it gets very difficult to actually teach. Takes pleasure in teaching, enjoys the teaching profession. So you have to get back to why you are in this basic profession. Are you really interested, or there's no other alternative? This is the best thing with a lot of vacation, okay, and no tension, less time which you have to work with, nice vacation, so that's easy. You're working, you're getting your money as well as you're getting all the other benefits. So it goes back to that point. Demonstrates involvement in learning activities outside school. You take them to a park, okay, you take them out to, visit different things like fire stations, zoo, everything, and there also there's like active learning which actually takes place. Motivation. How do you keep yourself and your students motivated? Unless and until we are charged up every day, our students will never be charged up. There are days when we feel low, okay, but that should not actually come into the motivation or the child's life which is there. Maintains high quality work. Okay, there is no compromise in quality no matter what happens which is there. Return students' work in a timely manner. If they've given you some work and you have to return it back, you have to give it back in a timely manner, because you say a deadline. Okay, the child has to report a project. It could be anything. It could be a simple coloring and a drawing. You give it back today. You correct it and we say we give it back tomorrow. You have to give it back tomorrow. You have to keep your word. You have to actually tell the child that, so the child, what does the child actually understand? The teacher will give it back to me. She knows what I am doing. Okay? So today if I am actually doing some kind, I've given him 1, 2, 3 to write. He's given it for homework. He's given it back to me. I have to correct it and immediately give it back to him and tell him what it is. Okay? So for motivation to keep going, Reinforcement should be very immediate. If there's delayed reinforcement, learning never takes place. That motivation for learning dies out. Provide students with meaningful feedback. This is where you have gone wrong. This is how it should be written. This is how you should hold the pencil. You can see the blue line, red line, whatever it is. Okay? Meaningful feedback. Or just give the paper and say you have to improve. Where do you have to improve? What do you have to improve? Okay, improve on what? Is it the quality of the crayons I used? What is it that I have to improve? Be specific about your feedback, especially when we are giving children, because they carry the message to the parent. And parent gets wrong information, it is one total mismatch which happens there. Dedication to teaching. How dedicated are you to the entire teaching profession which is there? Okay, because teaching is just not standing and giving out the content material or simplifying the textbook matter which is there. It is actually building lives. Teaching is the most important and the most difficult profession. Okay, because you either make generations or you break generations which is there. Possesses a positive attitude about life and teaching. Okay, basically the positive attitude towards life in general. Everything is nice and optimistic, very optimistic. You know, things are not going to be the same. You'll have problems which come in and go. This is how you will have to deal with it. Okay, that ever smiling teacher. Whenever we go back to our school days, who are the teachers which actually we think of? Teachers who actually smile and sail into the class, sail out, we had fun with them, and you know, these are the teachers which actually we have in mind. That never dying spirit in them, that positive attitude. Spends time outside school preparing for the next day. You know, like collecting things, or like when we go, both of us actually, when we go even on our personal work, wow, this is nice, we can use it for this child. Wow, this is nice, we can use it for our child. Okay, so this is the kind of that passion and that dedication which we have. Accepts responsibility for student outcomes. Okay, this we should be very careful. We shouldn't get into that guilt mode. You get into that guilt mode, you will have negativity coming into your personality. So we'll have to actually take responsibility. Today he has not done it. It could be my instruction could have been wrong. Okay, so let's see whether I can do it differently. Okay, or I must have not have, you know, overlooked it, or overrated it, or underlooked it. It could be something which is there. Don't get into that guilt mode. I have done it. Because I have done it, this has happened. It's okay. Every day is not Sunday. So every day the child is not going to be the same. Seeks professional development. I think that's why all of you all are here. Okay, enhance your skills. Keep enhancing your skills, you are as a person. Finds, implements and shares new instructional strategies. So something new has come in. Let's see how I can implement it in this particular classroom. Okay, of course you'll have to take prior permission from the superiors which is there before implementing it. Reflective practice. So we'll have to keep reflecting. Knows areas of personal strength and weaknesses. What are your personal strengths and what are your weaknesses? Okay, so I am good at this, I am not good at this. Everybody is not going to be good in everything. We have our own personal strengths and weaknesses. So what we basically do as professionals is, every 6 months we take off to actually bring back that thing into us. Where are we going wrong? Because we deal with so many problem children which is there. We do not see a lot of anything. Our professional life, there is nothing happy about it. Okay? Because the kind of children we see is, you know, that only problems and problems and problems. It gets onto our head at times. You can get stressed out very fast. So we have to take a break, get back. What is our strength? What is our weakness? Take a break. It could be something very simple and thing which is, it could be gardening, it could be anything which you like basically to do. Use reflection to improve teaching. Am I correct? Is this what I did? You know, was this the way I had to teach? Reflect a lot on yourself which is there. Set high expectations for personal classroom performance. Okay, so if you have an expectation of say around 80 to 90%, this is how it could be. You will work to at least getting it to 50% which is there. Okay, set it. Today this is how it's going to be. Visualize in your head. Visualization is a very powerful tool which is there. Okay, it calms the entire thing because the amount of that neurological, that psychic energy you require in visualization is so high which is there. Okay, visualize. This is how the day is going to be. I'm going to walk into the classroom and this is the classroom thing which is there, and today I'm going to do this and today we're going to do that. Okay, and this is how it's going to be. So once you start visualizing, you'll have a fair idea of what basically it is. demonstrates high efficacy. Okay, there's a lot amount of that efficient work that you're able to actually do. Classroom management. You have to manage a classroom. Okay, that's as a person, that's your core qualities as a person, that you're caring, you're fair, you respect children, you're motivating, those are your thing. The entire thing, the next one is how do you execute all those qualities on the ground level which is there. It's how do you manage a classroom. Okay, you have a bunch of, high energetic children who come in. 2 to 4 years are not easy. And usually all our Montessori's are mixed with girls and boys. It becomes even more difficult. Okay, it gets very difficult which is there. We having 1 or 2 children at home, we can't manage. Okay, so the teachers do an awesome job of managing around 20 to 30 children. Okay, it's not easy at all. It's absolutely not easy. We struggle with 1 at home. You can imagine them, they struggle with so many. It's not an easy job at all. So how do you manage? Okay, it's like steering that entire boat. It has to go together. All the 60 children and the teacher have to move together. How do you get that momentum going? Uses consistent and proactive discipline. Okay, be consistent. That's the most important thing with children. You have to establish a routine in them. A routine could be simple thing as you get up, like parents establish routines as you get up, brush your teeth, finish your toileting needs and then come out. It's a routine which is established. Okay, it makes life more easy and we're very consistent. No is a no, yes is a yes. So the child actually knows how much is that line which you can cross. Establishes routine for all daily tasks and needs. Every day you come in, it depends on the kind of Montessori system you have. Leave your bags here, leave your chappals here, go and sit in your place. The next one is a prayer time. So more or less it's a routine which is established in most of the schools. Orchestrates smooth transition and continuity of the classroom momentum. So from one activity to the other, there is a very smooth transition. So one activity is over, put it back into the box, take out the next activity which is there. It's already a set plan. The time also moves. So it's very smooth. The children are not disorganized. The minute we are disorganized, the children also get disorganized. Balances variety and challenges in student activities. Okay, there's a balancing. So the child is doing this, I will help this child out in this. So how do you actually plan? By the time the child settles, 3 months down the line, you basically get an idea about what this child can do, this child can do, and this child can do. So when you're actually doing the classroom management, what you can do is, this child is more smarter, I can give him this, so I can concentrate on this. Then I can concentrate on this. So this is how you'll have to manage the activities. Multitasks. What do you mean by multitasking? Doing many things together. You're taking a class, you have the ayah calling, principal is calling. You'll have to run. Okay, your child wants to go to susu, you have to call the ayah. So there's a lot of multitasking which takes place. So how do you manage it without disrupting the entire classroom setup? Is aware of all the activities in the classroom. One child is not doing, one child is throwing something, one child is missing. You're basically aware. So that observant skills. Okay, just be observant of what each one is doing. Anticipates potential problems. Okay, you know exactly. Okay, if I don't give the child this particular thing immediately, or the child is not able to wait, the child is not able to understand, what is the next thing which is going to come? Uses space, proximity, or movement around the classroom for nearness to trouble spots and to encourage attention. You basically know where to seat whom. Who has to sit in front, who has to sit behind, who has to sit next to whom. All these kind of things you're able to actually manage and understand. A teacher should pick this up within 3 weeks, you have a class. Okay? That's how we are trained. By the time we get special children which is there, by 3 weeks we basically get to know what exactly we'll have to work with who has to be grouped with whom. That's the timing which we keep. So that observation. When we are on observation, some of them actually tell me that we are working with a lot of behavioral challenge children. You have eyes all round, even behind, because the peripheral vision will help you. You will get to know what basically is happening. This is not happening, that is not happening. Okay, so just picking up those particular cues which is there. Organization. How do you actually start organization? Okay, you'll have to build in these skills within you all. Okay, that entire personality is something which you'll have to get into your system to actually start off. Only then you will be an effective teacher. Handles routine tasks promptly, efficiently and consistently. prepares material in advance, ready to use, organizes classroom space efficiently. Disciplining students. Okay, disciplining students is, you have different models of disciplining which is there, and the entire thing has changed. Previously when we were studying, it could be one hit, hitting would be the ultimate punishment, it was not at all wrong. Our parents used to come and tell the teachers also, you give that one whack also, no problem. Okay, absolutely no issue. Today we can't do that. It's legally, ethically, and the parents also don't allow it. Okay, so we are basically in the thing of, spare the rod and spoil the child. Sometimes you really feel like giving the child a whack, but you just can't do it. You'll have to pull yourself back. So what basically you actually do? Interprets in response to inappropriate behavior promptly. Okay? Ignorance of certain behaviors is good. All behaviors would lead to reinforcement. Okay? So whenever you spot a behavioral problem, it could be anything. It could be pushing a child, it could be, grabbing from somebody else's tiffin box and eating, it could be just snatching away objects which is there, it could be just taking the objects and throwing, any amount of thing would be there. We have to act promptly. What exactly triggered the entire situation? Implements rules of behavior fairly and consistently. You want to go out of the classroom? Raise your hand. You want to question, you want to go to the toilet? Raise your hand. Okay, that's the first thing we actually teach the children. So putting in the discipline consistently. Telling him that this is the kind of behavior we need if you have to come out with something. Reinforce and reiterates expectations for positive behavior. You have done that? Good. You have done this particular thing which is there. Uses appropriate disciplinary measures. There are times when in schools we used to have something known as timeout. Stand outside the class. Okay, and the naughtiest child will stand outside the class and he will enjoy the most. Outside class is what? You don't want to be inside class, so I'll be outside class. Okay, so we do not give these kind of things right now to certain children. It depends on the kind of situation, the kind of group in which we are there. Personality qualities. Check your skills and personality traits. Make a promise to change. Keep checking yourself. Am I positive? Am I getting too negative? Okay, am I taking in everything? Some children are like this. They might move on. Okay, what basically I am? Make a promise to change. So you'll have to actually go back to that entire thing. Once we finish this, wherever you will have marked no in your checklist. Okay, so you'll have to actually think about it, how you are going to change about it, and what basically is the top priority you're going to do as an individual person to be an effective teacher. The teacher as a person, the positive qualities which you can actually look into, or you can start making yourself, changing your personality style would be: assume ownership for the classroom and the students' success. Use personal experiences as examples in teaching. Understand feelings of students. Communicate clearly. Admits to mistakes and corrects immediately. Like please, sorry. Okay. Thinks about and reflects on practice. Displays a sense of humor. Dresses appropriately for the position. Because children learn a lot. Nowadays children is like very difficult. With all the social media and Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif, it becomes very difficult. So the way we dress itself actually takes forward what the entire thing is. Maintains confidentiality, trust and respect. Is structured yet flexible and spontaneous. Is responsive to situations and students' needs. Enjoys teaching and expects students to enjoy learning. Looks for the win-win solution in conflict situations. What do you mean by win-win? Two people are fighting. Okay? Both the boys will win in the end of the day. Okay? That depends on the teacher's smartness. How do you actually get that? The boy A also will feel, yes, I only won. The boy B also will feel, I only won. That depends on how smart you are as a person, in solving this kind of small issues which is there. Listens attentively to student questions and comments. Responds to students with respect even in difficult situations. Difficult situations would be, you will have a stage show. You have your annual day which is there. And the child would have had something happened at home. Right on the stage when the child has to go, he'll pull your thing. Miss, this happened. Okay? You have to listen. You'll have to actually listen which is there. I know it's a very difficult situation. Practically it's impossible because you'll have to push your next child which is there. And you have to showcase your entire thing as a teacher to the entire crowd which is there. Your capacity as a teacher is going to be questioned with your performance of your children there. Okay, so just getting down and telling, yeah, we listen later, wonderful, this is what has happened. So the child's eagerness also is there, you have also done your job which is there. The other positive qualities are, communicates high expectations consistently, conducts one-to-one conversation with students, treats students equally and fairly, has positive dialogue and interaction with students outside the classroom, once they're playing on the corridor or something, invest time with single students or small groups of students outside the classroom, maintains a professional manner at all times, addresses students by name. That's the most important. Because previously when we were all studying, you could have, that girl in that two plats which is there, okay, the dark girl, this fair girl, this is how it was earlier. But right now it's changing, okay. Speaks in an appropriate tone and volume, not screaming, screeching, that maintain the tone, that inflections, when you have to express, when you don't have to express, works actively with students. Students are jumping, jump along with the students. You want the students to learn something, do it along with the students. Now these are the red flags. Okay, red flags would be, these are the qualities which, if you are having it with you all, check. Please just do a self-reflection to find out. Believes the teaching is just a job. It's another profession. I'm going to teach and come back. It doesn't make any difference to me. Arrives late to school and class on a regular basis. Now it's very easy to say traffic jam. Why are we late? Traffic jam. Has classroom discipline problems. Children are running around here, running around there. This child is so difficult. I don't want to take this particular classroom. This boy is like that. That mother is there and the child's mother is there. It's very difficult to talk to. All those kind of things which are there. Is not sensitive to a student's culture or heritage. Because when we are working in India, we have to be very sensitive. Children come from a lot of cultural backgrounds which is there. Okay, being sensitive. Oh, this was a religious thing, fine. We appreciate it. Okay, but too much of leave which is there, we should be very positively telling it's going to hinder the education. Religious beliefs are there, fine, we all respect it. Expresses bias, positive or negative with regard to students. Works on paperwork during class rather than working with students. Has parents complaining about what is going on in the classroom. Keeping the parents at a line is the most important, whether it's in a regular school or it's in a special school, because we as parents can get into the complaining mode. When you are a mother, it is only your child. Nobody else is important. My child is the best and has to have the best. It's very, very natural and instinctive. Okay, so as a teacher, we'll have to know where to draw that particular line. Uses inappropriate language. Demeans or ridicules students. Exhibits defensive behavior for no apparent reason. Is confrontational with students, fights with the students. You did this, you did that. Okay, because of you this has happened. Lacks conflict resolution skills, does not accept responsibility for what occurs in the classroom. We'll take a break right now, I think, because it's getting quite chill and everybody is like dozing off. Okay, so we'll just take a 5-minute break and then we get back.